Daf Yomi, Tractate Sanhedrin, page 36b. Top of the page with the words Kika Amar Rav. Kigon Rav Kahana Rav Asi de Legamre de Rav Havot Tzirichi Vilesavare de Rav Lo Havot Tzirichi. The Gemara answers when Rav says his statement, he is referring to not every student, but only those such as Rav Kahana and Rav Asi who needed to learn the halachic traditions of Rav, but they did not need to learn the reasoning of Rav, as they were capable of conducting their own analysis. Amar Rav Yebahu, Asara Devarim Yesh Bein Dinei Mamanos Adin Nefashos Chulam Einogin Mishor Haniskal Chutz Me'esrim Mushloisha. Excuse me. Rabbi Abahu says there are 10 ways in which cases of monetary law are different from cases of capital law, as was taught in the beginning of the chapter, and none of them is practiced with regard to a court hearing concerning an ox that is to be stoned, as it is stated in a case of monetary law, except for the requirement that the animal be judged by 23 judges, like in cases of capital law. Minohani Mili, how do we know these things? The Gemara asks, from where are these matters derived? Amar Rav Yachav Papa, Damar Kro, Lo Isate Mishpat Evyoinecha Berivoi, Mishpat Evyoinecha Yatomate. אבל אתה מטה משפט של שור הניסקל. The Gemara asks from where these matters arise. Rav Papa says, as the verse states, you shall not incline the judgment of your poor in his cause. Exodus 23:6. He explains, you may not incline the judgment of to exert effort to find liable your poor, but you may incline the judgment of an ox that is to be stoned. The reason for the procedural differences between cases of monetary law and cases of capital law is to render it more likely that one accused of a capital transgression will be acquitted. This is not a factor when judging the ox. Asore hati shahavu Asore ketani mishum de'ena kol kesherin ve'eschim mishloisha chadai. The Gemara asks, are there really 10 ways in which cases of monetary law are different from cases of capital law? There are only 9 differences recorded in the Mishnah. The Gemara questions this, but the Mishnah teaches 10 differences, not 9. The Gemara clarifies, although there appear to be 10, there are in fact 9, because the halacha is not all are fit to judge cases of capital law, and the halacha, the 23 judges, are required for cases of capital law, are 1. The reason not all are fit to judge cases of capital law is that the court of 23 is derived from the command to Moses, and they shall bear the burden of the people with you. Numbers 11:17, which indicates that only those with you, meaning similar in lineage to Moses, can serve on that court. See 17a. Ha'ika achariti detanya ein moshivin v'sanhedrin zaken v'soris umi she'ein lo banim Rav Yehuda Mosif Afach Zori V'chiluvein B'meisis Derachmana Omar Lo Yisachmel V'lo Yisichase Oloho. The Gemara answers, but there is another difference, as it is taught in the Braita to Sefta 7:5. The court does not seat on the Sanhedrin a very old person, or one who is castrated, or one who has no children, or those who do not recently raise children, may lack compassion. Rabbi Yehuda as those who did not recently raise children. Right. As those who did not recently raise children may lack compassion. Rabbi Yehuda adds, even a cruel person is not eligible. The Gemara comments, and the opposite of this is the halakha with regard to one who entices others to engage in idol worship, as the merciful one states concerning him, neither shall you spare, neither shall you conceal him. Deuteronomy 13:9. Hakol kesher ladun dini mamanos hakol esuyemai Amar Rav Yehuda lasuyem mamzer iluhu mamzer. The Mishnah teaches that all are fit to judge cases of monetary law. The Gemara asks what is added by the Mishnah as employing the expansive term all. Rav Yehuda says it serves to include a child born from an incestuous or adulterous relationship, which is a mamzer, iluhu mamzer, in the category of those qualified to judge cases of monetary law. ויש רואי לדון דיני ממנוס ואין רואי לדון דיני נפשוס. ואבידים ולסויי מאי ואמר רב יהודה לסויי ממזר. אחד על הסויי גר ואחד על הסויי ממזר. The Gemara questions this explanation, but we already learned this halakha one time that it's taught in bright to all who are fit to judge cases of capital law are fit to judge cases of monetary law, but there are those who are fit to judge cases of monetary law and are not fit to judge cases of capital law. And we discussed it, what is included in the expansive term all employed by the Braita. And Rabbi Yehuda says it serves to include mamzer. The Gemara responds, one of the two sources serves to include a convert who is qualified to judge only in cases of monetary law, and one of the two sources serves to include a mamzer. Utzricha. V'yesh min ger d'roi lo mekal. Ava mamzer emelo. V'yesh min mamzer deba miti bakashera. Aval ger de lo ba miti bakashera emelo tzricha lo tzricha. The Gemara comments, and both the Mishnah and the Braita are necessary, as the halacha taught by one source cannot be derived from the halakha taught by the other source, as if the Tana taught us the fitness to judge cases of monetary law only with regard to a convert, one could say that a convert is like a born Jew concerning this, since he is fit to enter into the congregation, meaning marry a Jew of fit lineage. But with regard to mamzer, who is not fit to enter the congregation, say that he cannot serve as a judge. And if the Tana taught only us the fitness to judge cases of monetary law only with regard to a mamzer, one could say that a mamzer is fit to judge, as he came from seed of unflawed lineage. But with regard to a convert who does not come from seed of unflawed lineage, say he cannot serve as a judge. Therefore, both sources are necessary. Ve'ena kol ksher ladundi nefashos ma'tama. The tenor of Yosef kashim shebeizdin menukam b'tzedek kach menukin mikol mum. Amar Meimar ma'ikro kulach yafarayati umum ein bach. The Mishnah teaches, but not all are fit to judge. Case of capital law, the judges may be only priests, Levites, or Israelites who are of sufficiently fit lineage to marry their daughters to members of the priesthood. The Gemara asks, what is the reason for this? The Gemara explains, as Rabbi Yosef taught, just as the court is clean in justice, so too it is clean of any blemish, meaning it does not include anyone of flawed lineage. And Meimar says, what is the verse from which this is derived? It states, you are all fair, my love, and there is no blemish in you. Song of Songs 4:7. V'dilma mum mamash. Amar Rabbi Yaakov, Amar Krav, Yitzvu Shamimach. The The Gemara asks, but perhaps you should say that this is referring to an actual blemish, as teaching that one who has a physical blemish cannot be appointed to the Sanhedrin. Rabbi Yaakov says, it is not necessary to learn from this verse the halakha that one who has a physical blemish cannot be appointed to the Sanhedrin, as the verse states in connection with the transfer of the divine spirit from Moses to the elders, that they may stand there with you. Numbers 11:16. The term "with you" is explained to mean with similarity to you, teaching that the members of the Sanhedrin must be whole in body like Moses. Vidilma Hasim Mishum Shechina El Amar Benachman Yitzchak Amar Kravin Asu Itach Bedoimin Lach Lehavi. The Gemara rejects this proof, but perhaps there those who were with Moses had to be free of any blemish due to the divine presence, which was going to rest upon them. But this is not a requirement for judges to serve on the Sanhedrin. Rather, Rav Nachman Bar Yitzchak says, the verse states, so shall they make it easier for you and bear the burden with you. Exodus 18:22. The term "with you" is explained to mean, they shall be similar to you, without blemish. This verse is referring to the appointment of regular judges, upon whom the divine presence does not rest, and teaches that all members of the Sanhedrin must be whole in body. And the verse from Song of Songs teaches that they must have unflawed lineage as well. And that's the end of that. We start a new Mishnah at the bottom of the Amud. The Mishnah says, Sanhedrin haita כחצי גוירן עגולה, כדי שיהיו רואים זה את זה. ושני סופרי הדיונין עומדים לפניהם, אחד מימין ואחד משמאל, וחושפים דברי מחייבים ודברי מזקין. ורב יהודה אומר, שלושה אחד כוסף דברי המזקין, ואחד כוסף דברי המחייבים, והשלישי כוסף דברי המזקין ודברי המחייבים. I'll take two of those. A Sanhedrin of 23 was arranged in the same layout as half of a circular threshing floor in order. Then all the judges will see one another and the witnesses. And two judges, scribes, stand before the court, one on the right and one on the left, and they write the statements of those who find the accused liable of the statements of those who acquit the accused. Rabbi Yehuda says there were three scribes. One writes only the statements of those who acquit the accused. One writes only the statements of those who find him liable. And the third writes both the statements of those who acquit the accused and the statements of those who find him liable, so that if there is uncertainty concerning the precise wording that one of the scribes writes, it can be compared to the words of the third scribe.